Mike. Okay, ladies and gents, boys and girls, good morning. Happy Thursday. Happy game day. What is going on? Thursday, September the 29th, 2022, as we get situated back on the home front. I see Austin Ward, Kens, I Dig Music, Brennan M., Travie, Hunter Johnson, Luke RJ, Chase Floyd, JD Holbrooks, Austin Ward, what's going on? Also, Daniel Graham, what's going on? DGD, appreciate you tuning in. Also, all those in the Big Cock Club Discord. Head over to the TDC Questions channel, the TDC Questions channel. Be sure your questions are answered there. Good morning to you all. Appreciate you all tuning in. Get up. It is game day indeed. I got to be honest, I don't think this will be a permanent thing. I kind of like 12 to 2, I'll be honest with you. As someone that wakes up at about 8:30 or 9 in the morning, I don't think 10 to 12 is going to be my cup of tea. Either way, though, it's game day, and we make it rock. Appreciate you all tuning in. We are taking your questions, your comments, and your calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377 here on this Thursday. And again, more importantly, it is game day. Again, guys, you can see we are back in the studio. Again, thank y'all so much for rolling with the punches this week. I know it's been kind of a crazy week with yours truly out of town and all that good stuff. So thank y'all for being flexible with everything. Just a quick content update. Of course, guys, we are live right now for the Daily Crow. We'll be live until noon as Todd Smith drops the super chat. Todd, thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Todd. And if you do want to support the business, support the channel, support the content, and you're on YouTube, you can do so through Super Chat, Super Stickers, all that good stuff. We are live today, though, on the Daily Crow until noon. JC Sherbert will join us at 10:15 for his weekly Thursday conversation. I appreciate JC being flexible with that. He will join us in about 12 minutes to talk about the game tonight, all of his thoughts on South Carolina and SC State. Guys, podcast will indeed drop tomorrow, as normal. The podcast will drop tomorrow. It will be a full breakdown, what you would hear on a Monday. We will now drop that tomorrow morning. So, going to be a late night for yours truly. We're going to make the trip down today. I see Sean Carter asking, tailgating for the game. Yes, we'll be out at Seawells around 2:30 or so. The lot opens at 2:30. Forgive me if I'm out there at 3 o'clock, guys. Might be 3 o'clock, but either way, we'll be out there pretty close to 2:30, and we'll try to be there as close to 2:30 as I possibly can. But yeah, we'll be out there at Seawells, tailgating, having a good time. And like I said, we'll go to the game tonight, and then we'll turn right around and come back and record the show. We'll probably hit record about 1 a.m. Friday morning, and the show will drop as normal 5 a.m. Friday morning for you all. So it'll be a full recap, full breakdown, everything you normally see on a Monday. You will get that tomorrow. What will the Monday podcast be, you ask? I have no idea, and we will cross that bridge when we get to it. It might just honestly be like a Q&A type thing, to be honest with you. It might be a Q&A type thing and maybe an interview or something like that. But either way, guys, we are live here. That's all that matters, taking your questions, your comments, and your calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Guys, again, it's game day. It's game day. How about it? It is game day. Gamecocks taking on SC State tonight. How y'all feeling? I feel like folks are excited. It's a little bit of a mixed bag, though, because it is South Carolina State, and it's almost like a surreal feeling. Like it's a surreal that it's like, wow, it's actually game day today. Like we actually play tonight. So it's a little bit different for sure. But again, got to roll with the punches. And I know this football team is ready to go, and I'm expecting a very exciting game tonight. Very exciting. I think the Gamecocks win big. In case you missed it yesterday, guys, I got South Carolina winning the game 66-10. Connor Lee says weather is miserable and the wind is too much. Yeah, I'm expecting, Connor, a very, very light crowd at Willie B tonight. And I think, again, we could have 1,000 people there, and I wouldn't blame Gamecock Nation, dude. I really wouldn't. I mean, game gets moved, right? It's South Carolina State. But also what you have to take into consideration, bad weather is going to come in town tonight. What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, Chris. How's it going, man?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking. What's up?
I wanted to say, by the way, I'm surprised you ain't got you a big chair yet, man. You said that she was going to get you a big one coming off the last location that you were at.
Yeah, I mean, I just got in town last night at like 7 o'clock, and I was whooped, man. I didn't even feel like going to the store last night. So it will happen, though. It will happen. Yeah, it will happen.
Yeah, I guess I can't blame you for hitting the furniture store and grabbing one of them at that time. I know I definitely wouldn't have.
Yeah, no, it'll happen though. That was a that was a heck of a vibe. So it will definitely happen.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the show the past couple of days. It was really cool to see you out there and all that good stuff. Looked like you was real comfortable chilling.
I appreciate that.
Taking in as much good vibes and energy as you can, especially with everything going on. But yeah, man. I just wanted to kind of hit on something. As far as tonight goes, I'm really pumped up. Happy game day, by the way, and happy game day to all my fellow Gamecocks out there. Yeah, tonight, man. Like, obviously last week, or not last week, but technically last week, we come out and had a little bit of a struggle in the first half right there, but ended up capping it off real good there in the second half. Proud of our guys. But here's my concern going in. I'm just gonna, I know you got JC Sherbert coming on here soon. I'm just gonna ask you, hop off. I just kind of want to get a little bit more of your take on tonight with how you're feeling going into it offensively, schematically. Because I was thinking last week, I was like, okay, and I don't know if anybody else is thinking this. I'm aware that you are, but going into it, I like our strategy with running the ball and getting our offensive line comfortable and getting Marshawn comfortable back there. Obviously, had a breakout game, awesome to watch. And but yeah, tonight, going into it, I was like, okay, well, we decided we wanted to run the ball a lot last week, and that's fine. Get that run game going, get that offensive line built up. But tonight, I don't know how you can't put any kind of emphasis on getting the ball downfield, and let Spencer kind of have a free day, if you will, like a field day, because I mean, you got like you said yesterday, like you hit on, you got to get him rolling, and it's not ever like tonight is the best night to do it. And honestly, I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like I would be a little hesitant and a little like it would make me question this coaching staff a little bit, even though I have all the faith in the world of Shane Beamer, but man, I can't tell you, I was getting mad. I mean, I'm sure everybody else was too against, on Marcus Satterfield in that first half, man. I just could not, like, I would get so mad I could barely breathe. Like, it was just driving me crazy. So, I don't know, but I mean, you got a chance to kind of, let Spencer do his thing tonight, and I kind of wanted to get, your take on that. And, all that good stuff, and I'll with that I'll hop off and let you do your thing, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate the call, man. Thanks so much for the question, and happy game day to you as well. No, good stuff. I mean, I think that the emphasis will be the run game again tonight. I think you look at the weather, and it is going to be a windy night tonight at Willie B. I think that we will run the football. I mean, and listen, guys, I've been saying all week, get Spencer Rattler going, let him air it out. I'm not saying, as I said yesterday, I'm not saying throw it 70 times, right? Like, I'd love to see balance. I'd love to see balance in the offense. And, SC State gives up 255 yards per game on the ground. We're going to run the ball. I mean, we're going to run the ball. We should run the ball. We shouldn't just ignore that area of the game that we can most definitely expose. But let's see some balance. And when you do throw the football, right? When you do throw the football, go down the field with it. It ain't got to be a swing pass. It ain't got to be a screen. It ain't got to be a dump off. You know what I mean? So, but I wonder how the weather affects it. I was just taking a look, about 15-mile-an-hour winds, and that's significant. I mean, that's not just like a light breeze. That's some significant wind. So, if the wind keeps up and it's real bad tonight, it might be just a heavy emphasis on the run game. And while it will be, kind of, leave us desiring more. You got to win the football game first and foremost. And if the weather calls for more run plays than pass plays, and so be it. That's all you can do. I appreciate the question. Thank you so much for the call. JC Sherbert joining us in about 4 minutes or so, guys. I went ahead and closed up the phone lines Really excited to chat with JC and get his thoughts on the game tonight and everything happening with the Gamecocks. And feels good, to be back in studio, guys. I will definitely at some point be getting the big comfy chair. I can assure you of that. I will be getting the big comfy chair. So Lance, what's going on, man? Appreciate you tuning in. Cocky Neck Gator, what's up? What's up? Yeah, I see my folks in the Big Cock Club Discord telling me that apparently the wind is whipping out here. The wind is whipping. Yeah, I think it might be a hoodie night, guys. You look at the weather. You look at the weather in Columbia for the game. It's not going to get out of the 60s at all today. Wind is going to be about 15 miles an hour. It's going to be the highest I think it's going to get around 68 degrees. At kickoff, expecting to be 67 degrees with 14-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, it's going to be jacket weather. It's going to be jacket weather. So, anyways, taking your questions, comments, and calls, guys. Again, we are counting down until JC Sherbert joins us. Excited to get his thoughts and his feelings on the game tonight. How y'all feeling on a morning Daily Crow, by the way? A morning TDC. Like I said at the top of the show, I'll be sticking to my 12 to 2 routine, I think. But hey, it's fun that we can switch it up. It's fun that we can change things up and we can hop in here and do our thing and we can chat and conversate and have a real good time. So I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all being flexible and again, being able to rock and roll with the punches and being cool with everything as we change the schedules and stuff like that. So anyways, excited to get back to Columbia, though, guys. Again, we will be at Seawell's 2:30, around 2:30 or so is when the tailgate will get going. We'll have the towels for sale. We'll have koozies for sale. And all those, by the way, who have ordered towels, koozies, anything of the sort, just know that those are currently being packaged and will be shipped ASAP. Please exert patience. Please exert patience, right, when it comes to all of our latest merchandise just because of the storm and everything else. So let's see. We had a call. Somebody left a voicemail. Do me a favor and call back in after JC Sherbert. So, okay. Austin War says, love the early morning show. I start at 5 a.m. every day. Okay. Very good. Hey, you're on that 5 a.m. grind. I love it. I love it, my guy. I love it. I love it. Luke RJ, thoughts about moving the game to today and playing before the storm hits Columbia. I mean, you want to get the game in, Luke. You want to get the game in. You know, it's interesting, though. I saw my guy Mitch Weather on Twitter. Shout out to Mitch. Does a fantastic job. He apparently said he thought we could have played the game Saturday. So, I mean, it's actually showing now, guys, an 8% chance of rain on Saturday. So, could we have actually played on Saturday? I guess that's up for debate. I don't know. I mean, I did they maybe pull the trip? But they had to make a quick decision. You know what I mean? They had to make a quick decision. They couldn't sit around, right, and wait and all that. Yeah, Lady Bree. Yeah, I made the. Sorry, I didn't make the announcement more public on social media yesterday. I got into town, got back into town last night, and dude, honestly, I was just tired from the driving, and didn't get the news out there on. I didn't get the news out there, Lady Bree, normally how I normally would, so I apologize for that. All right, we got him in here. Let's go ahead. Obviously, he joins us every single Thursday, and guys, we appreciate him being flexible with his time. Really fun stuff because it is a game day edition of the Daily Crow and a game day conversation we're having with JC Sherbert of Inside the Game of the Big Spur. JC, what's going on, my friend? Happy game day. Good morning, and I appreciate you taking the time, man. What's up?
Hey, no problem. Good to be with you today, Chris, and certainly kind of happy that it's game day today. You know, I think sometimes I don't know about everybody else. I get a little anxious during the week, you know, around this time, and you know, a lot of memories have come back this week in terms of the Thursday night contest around Carolina, and I think that's awesome. So, you know, it's a good feeling. I know when these things have been rescheduled in the past, it's the fourth time this has happened or canceled as it was in 2018 with Marshall. Maybe there's not those positive feelings, but it's been really cool this week. Good to play South Carolina State again. A lot of respect for that program, and getting ready to go. Happy game day got moved up a couple of days this week.
Yeah. JC, you asked me the question. You obviously bring it up, so I'll ask it right back to you. Favorite Thursday night memory as a Gamecock or watching Gamecocks football? Obviously, I know we talked yesterday. The 2009 Ole Miss game is one that the birth of Sandstorm, that's the one that jumps to the top. But there's been some great ones. 2005 UCF, Steve Spurrier's debut. 2010 Southern Miss. You think of 2007 against Kentucky on that rainy Thursday night in 2007. 2001 Mississippi State was one you brought up. What's your which game again? I know 2009 Ole Miss, like we talked yesterday. That's kind of the no-brainer answer. But Thursday night games, most memorable Thursday nights for South Carolina football you can recall.
I'm going to go that 2001 Mississippi State game was mine. Just kind of what was going on in our country. The fact that I had a bachelor party that night, that was kind of fun. Lifetime memories that weekend with my buddy getting married, one of my best friends in the world. And just kind of at the time, Chris, South Carolina and Mississippi State were permanent opponents. I think the Gamecocks have won once in Starkville ever since they joined the SEC at the time. They were a good team at the time in 2001. Jackie Sherrill, that was kind of his last good team. Andrew Pinnock broke free for a big touchdown run late. Carolina's defense dominated a 16-14 win. And that really kind of set the tone for a 5-0 start that year. Carolina, I think, got into the top 10 before losing at Arkansas. But, that game was cathartic in a lot of ways. I was at 2007 Kentucky and at 2009 Ole Miss. And I think those games were very, very important in terms of how Spurrier built the program into what it ultimately was, surpassing its previous ceiling. So I'm not discounting those games at all. But just for me personally, I like that. And then yesterday, we were talking about the Muschamp opener at Vandy that year. Boy, you look back at that. That's another one of those gritty Gamecock style wins because Vandy probably outplayed Carolina most of that game, and the Gamecocks defense just would not relent. Elliott Fry hit the big field goal and kept the streak going against the Commodores. In the grand scheme of things, I don't know that anybody's going to look back on that game and be like, oh, that was a great memory. Hey, yeah, for me, it definitely was. My bad on that. I mean, I don't know. I may have hit something. I don't know.
Hey, Muschamp Hackers, you just experienced it.
Yeah, there we go. The ghost of the machine.
Now you're really in the daily.
I believe now. I am a believer now.
As you were talking about the 2016.
Yeah, it goes back. That. It's like, it's you got to overcome the adversity on the field. Yeah, you just see his face.
Beautiful. JC, it's funny, man. I was looking at the weather report. I know that, kudos to South Carolina first thing for being willing to make the decision and get out ahead of it. And this is something where you can't wait till day of or day before or anything like that to, because there's a lot that goes into hosting a football game when you talk about, with the fans and the teams and all the, everything that goes into game day. It's interesting, though, JC, you look at the weather now for Columbia, high of 73 on Saturday and an 8% chance of rain. So it's like maybe they could have played Saturday. I don't know. It's but I think South Carolina, obviously, with the information they had available at the time, made the best possible decision. Because if you don't make the decision and it's a wash on Saturday, like you mentioned, you really lose out on an opportunity to pick up a win that you might need going down the stretch.
Yeah, and you don't want to. The worst case scenario is you're sitting there and you cancel the game like they did in 2018. You may not find an Akron, that can come play you. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen with other schools. I mean, could you have gone and maybe gotten? I mean, I don't know. So and the other thing is this: the storm is probably going to hit the coast of South Carolina. It'll be much diminished. Thank God, because I mean, there's a bad situation in Southwest Florida now, really throughout the state of Florida. But it's just one of those things where you think about first responders and police and EMS and people that need maybe to get off the coast that are right there on the beach or whatever, and the storm surge will happen, that maybe need those hotel rooms and stuff in Columbia that would have been taken up. So, this one, the other ones I've had really mixed feelings about. Of course, in 2015, when they had to move it to Baton Rouge, that was a tragedy there in Columbia. They just couldn't do it. The Marshall game in 18, I was like, well, they probably, looking back, could have played. Same with 2016 in Georgia at home. So I was I didn't really feel great about those. But this one, maybe I'm just selfish and impatient, wanting to get to the game and get it done. But, I didn't have a big problem with this. I do think they made the right call, with regards to, not just the weather, but the overall setup. And the University of South Carolina is sort of situated differently than, say, Clemson, in the sense that, it is further toward the coastline. When you do evacuate, Clemson and the upstate, the bigger cities in the upstate get inundated, but that far northwestern corner, maybe not so much. So I get it. It was good. I'm glad that Ray Tanner, Buddy Pugh, and Shane Beamer and everybody agreed. Both schools are coming in and playing it tonight. And heck, it goes from being a noon kickoff where nobody would be watching to one of the only college football games on tonight, which of course it's up against the NFL, but some people aren't NFL fans. So it'll be a good chance to, get some exposure on the SEC network in prime time that maybe, wouldn't normally have happened.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm excited. Side note, I got my family coming into town tonight, so we're going to have us a big family affair watching the game, and should be a good night. Should be a fun night at Williams-Brice Stadium for sure. Let's talk on the field, JC. And first, we'll just lightly touch. I know it's game day for South Carolina State, but we haven't talked to you really since the Charlotte game. Obviously, Marshawn Lloyd was what really stood out. I feel like that was the story coming from that game. But, I won't dive too deep into the weeds on it because, again, it's game day for this game. But biggest takeaways from that one? I mean, I know it's hard to draw conclusions from these feel-good games or get-right games or what have you. But Marshawn Lloyd, certainly the story. Anything else that jumped out from that big win over Charlotte?
Yeah, well, I mean, the other thing about it, Chris, I was thinking about this, and I didn't mention it in talking about this game, is, the get-right games Carolina's had, exceptions probably, Eastern Illinois in the opener last year, they haven't really gotten right, If you think about Troy, you think about Vandy, you think about, East Carolina was going to be tough because it was up there, but, Georgia State this year, you sort of look at the box scores of those, you're like, man, Carolina was kind of fortunate. Yeah. Very happy for Lloyd. I think another, probably a more underrated aspect of the game. Two things stand out. Christian Bill Smith coming in, getting his first real significant action, scoring 2 touchdowns, showing that physicality, showing he's healthy, ready to go. They were counting on him to be kind of that second back, this season. So I thought that was a positive, and I'm looking forward to watching him play tonight. Also, on the offensive line, Ja'Kai Moore and Tyshawn Wanamaker at tackle. Tyshawn sort of outplayed the rest of the guys the last 2 years. I mean, he got beat out in camp by Dylan Wanham, but I thought he played really well, and I think that Ja'Kai Moore, who is finally healthy, obviously was a big-time recruit. Carolina beat Clemson and Penn State on him. He's from Northern Virginia. Getting out there and competing like he did, regardless of opponent, was a welcome development. And then third, the defense. And I said it, the week before the Charlotte game, I talked to a coaching buddy of mine, and he's like, South Carolina's got to start taking chances on defense. They can't just sit back and bleed to death. And in the second half, you saw South Carolina's defense attack the Charlotte offense, kind of take the fight to them. I think if South Carolina's going to get better and better on D this year, that's kind of the strategy Clayton White and those guys need to take, and then you just live with the results, because sitting back and letting them punch you in the face and make play after play, regardless of if you limit explosives or not. I mean, that's the way to die a slow death. I'd rather go out fighting.
Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah, I'd rather go out fighting. And I thought the second half, Clayton White, the defensive staff, made the decision to do that. and I think it worked well. And I think that type of play will continue to work well this year. Even against SEC opponents, provided the offense doesn't just go back in the tank, and then that's a problem as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, JC, on the defensive side. Again, I think it's one of those things where, yeah, you might limit the explosives, but I can live with making aggressive mistakes. Making conservative mistakes is just it's hard to see, and it's demoralizing. It's just demoralizing when you got a Charlotte going 7 for 7 at one point on third down. You're like, you just mentally are like, I don't think we can stop them. Like, any third down they get, you're like, well, here it comes. I mean, it's just.
I've seen it, and the key with I don't necessarily always mind bend but don't break, because I think a lot of good Carolina defenses have been that way. I remember the East Carolina game, Muschamp's first year. My gosh, they went up and down the field, and but the thing Carolina did in that game, they tightened in the red zone. This defense this year has not been tightening in the red zone. The other teams get inside the 20, and it's the same old 5 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, 6 yards. Chunk. And they just weren't getting off the field. So I felt good about that plan of attack. And certainly tonight, I think they need to do the same thing. South Carolina State's got a future NFL wide receiver in Shaquan Davis. They got a veteran quarterback in Corey Fields. I think Kentrell Flowers is going to be back at running back. But South Carolina has an overwhelming advantage up front with their front seven on defense. They got playmakers in the secondary. I think, as Todd Ellis always says, let them eat. Let them eat tonight defensively. And don't let South Carolina State come in with some, cute game plan where Davis is going off and you're in a game that you really shouldn't be in.
Right. Yeah, let's start on the defensive side, JC, because everybody wants to talk offense. So we'll switch things up a little bit. To your point, defensively, how do you attack SC State? I guess you just mentioned, obviously, aggressiveness, getting after them. I agree, putting the pressure on them. They've obviously got the Davis kid on the outside. I think that matchup with him and Cam Smith is going to be a lot of fun, and just him against the South Carolina secondary. But, how are you attacking SC State? Again, it's interesting to ask you questions like this because, on one hand, just to be transparent, it just feels like a game where South Carolina should be able to kind of just do whatever. But you still want to go into it and, again, pull as many positives as you can and execute on a game plan. So defensively, what is that game plan for you? Is it that attacking nature like you were mentioning earlier, or is it something else?
Well, you have to be a little bit careful because if Flowers is back, he played in one game against Bethune-Cookman this year, and he went off 16 carries, 153 yards. It's Bethune-Cookman. They won it easily, 33-9. Other than that, they were held to 12 rushing yards against NC A&T last week, North Carolina A&T, in a 41-27 loss. And then they only mustered 91 yards against UCF in a loss in the opener. So they're not really a running football team. SC State used to run something kind of similar to Rich Rodriguez's offense with a lot of zone read, running quarterback, that kind of thing back in the 2000s, late 2000s, last time South Carolina played them. They're much more of a pass-oriented group with former Gamecock quarterback Bennett Swaggart dialing it up. What you want to avoid is, looking at the stats and saying, all right, they're just going to try to throw it, so let's go. And then you make mistakes and over pursue. And Flowers is running a draw play for about 70 yards and a touchdown. You don't want to gamble too much there because I do think him being healthy is a key to their rushing attack. But they haven't shown the ability to really run it consistently. They sort of go as Fields and that passing game goes. They've only played 3 games. It's their 4th straight road game. So if I'm the Gamecocks, what I'm doing is just playing assignment football and seeing, how well you can play the run if they try to run on early downs and then, get after the quarterback, whether that's with 4, whether you're blitzing, whatever. I do think Davis is dangerous, but I also think Fields under pressure is not the most accurate passer there is. He's not a guy like I don't know, name your QB, Trevor Lawrence or in college or Bryce Young. You go after Bryce Young, he's going to step up in the pocket, fire it down the field, and you're dead. But Fields isn't that kind of guy. So I think you got to make him uncomfortable and then just make sure there's no kind of, I call it a sneak attack in the run game, provided Flowers is healthy.
Now, offensively, JC, I know we've talked all week about getting Spencer Rattler going and working on the downfield passing game. You know, it's interesting with this weather. You're going to have about 15-mile-an-hour winds, so I wonder how that affects the game plan. And also, you look at SC State defensively, giving up 255 yards rushing per game. The run game, I think, will be there yet again if South kind of wants to take it. But I think you and I would agree balance, if at all possible, is what we want to see. Again, you got to take the weather into consideration, so how much they throw the football, I think it'll be interesting to see. But as balanced an attack as possible, I think that's really the end goal and what fans want to see. And just, again, starting to build some real confidence for Spencer Rattler as you gear up for Kentucky next weekend.
Yeah, I look at that, and I went back and watched a lot of the Charlotte game and stuff, and I guess you see him run and run at will, and it's kind of like, well, they didn't take any shots, whatever. I thought Rattler quietly had a very efficient football game. And there may be games this year where that's what he has to do, is just be efficient, keep them honest, and kind of – they didn't pass to set up the run against Charlotte because Charlotte just couldn't stop them. But there could be some games this year where those little short passes and stuff are effective, and then you back them off and you start to run the ball. I'd like to see more vertical shots. Obviously, I think if there's a guy when you're just talking about, the wind and how that could affect things, I mentioned Fields. I think the wind could affect their vertical game. I think Rattler's got enough velocity on his balls, though. He can slice through it. Now, the winds get up to 25, 30 mile an hour gusts. That's a little bit different. That's a different story. But, 15, I think he could probably, has enough arm strength to handle that. I'm looking for Juice Wells, the juice to get loose again. Came back, was not catchless against Charlotte like he was against Georgia, which I'll never understand why he didn't get any targets against Georgia, but that happens around here sometimes. I'm looking for him to get loose. Obviously, Jaheim Bell is on what I call milk carton watch. Where is he in the passing game? I mentioned Christian Bill Smith earlier. I think this is a chance for him to really get going, and all that. And Austin Stogner to a certain extent too. I mean, 9 catches in 4 games. That's not bad. I mean, that's 2 a game. He's a tight end, but I'd like to see him get a little vertical, go across the middle a little bit, because he hasn't made a lot of plays this year like his highlight plays at Oklahoma down the field. And he's capable, and that's a weapon when you have a guy like that. I mean, you watch pro football, you can see that, right? Not to bring up a sore subject there with pro football, but it's that he's kind of on my list too. And you can just put Josh Vann on that list from now on. I feel bad for him in a lot of ways because he had such a great year last year. He's had some drops. And frankly, he's just been outplayed by Jalen Brooks and some other guys this year. The most negative thing outside of the early defensive struggles last week, I thought, was, 75-yard punt return for Josh. You feel good about it, and penalty brings it back. So it's been a tough year for him so far. And just kind of look at him on a personal level and what's happened in his life, being a new father. And stuff like that, he's a really, really good person. And you pull for somebody like that, just like we all were pulling for Lloyd to have a breakout type game. I'm just pulling for Josh to kind of get out there, get some catches, make some plays, because he's been, almost non-existent this year in the passing game. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on offense. Like I said, if the wind gets a little bit more ridiculous than 15, they may have to just ground and pound a bit, but considering what State's done against the rush this year, I mean, in that Bethune-Cookman game that they won 33-9, Bethune-Cookman still rushed for 191 yards on them. So they're not the strongest run defense. I think they're like, Charlotte's bottom of the barrel in FBS, SC State and FCS. They're down there. 602 total yards against UCF. No matter how good Gus Malzahn is, that's a lot of yards. And Carolina should have similar success tonight.
Yeah, JC, I was going to say, if you're going to put Jaheim Bell on a milk carton watch, then what would you put Josh Van on?
Missing. Have you seen me?
the
he's the sign. Yeah, he's up there in the gas station, man.
Yeah, the signs are out. Let's switch gears a little bit, JC. In regards to this game, I think we both feel very confident what the end result's going to be, and I've called it a name your score game. Is that a little aggressive? I don't tend to think so, but I mean, whatever. It's a game that we feel confident South Carolina is going to have their way. It's going to be a fun night for the Garnet and Black. So this is a game you expect to, in the second half at minimum, to get some different guys in there, get some younger players. I know defensively we've already played a ton of young guys. Really, we didn't have a choice, right? Because guys have gotten injured. But is there a specific youngster you'd like to see get in the game and get some more action and kind of, because this is the week, right? This is a game to give guys opportunities to just see what they do under the lights against, competition. There's only so much you can see in practice and scrimmages. It's different when you get live bullets in an actual game. So is there a certain player, we haven't seen a quarterback outside of Spencer Rattler or Luke Doty take a snap. Is this the night you see a Tanner Bailey or a Braden Davis or a Colton Gauthier, or maybe even to Carryon Joyner get some looks under center, just to get them some experience? But any young guys specifically that you would like to see and you realistically could see getting in this ball game late and getting an opportunity?
Yes. I'll say this. I want to see more of Bam Martin Scott on defense. Stone Blanton's healthy again. Those two guys, man, I really think they're going to need them, as we move forward for depth purposes. I mean, one more injury at linebacker, and one of those guys is playing. So Donovan Westmoreland is in that category as well for me. On the D-line, TJ Sanders has been playing. I want to see more of him. Brian Thomas, if he's going to be an edge and be in the rotation, he needs as many snaps as he can possibly get moving forward. Offensively, is one guy, Lavoisier Carroll. I understand Turbo Miller is ahead of him or whatever. It has kind of been the mop-up duty guy, but Lavoisier is learning how to transition back from corner to running back. And I don't think he's hurt. I mean, you never know with injuries around here, but I would like to see him get some carries if the game gets out of hand, because I think when you're talking about Miller, you're talking about a one-year guy that's a walk-on. Lavoisier was a top 100 recruit, obviously the elite athlete, redshirted last year at Georgia, so there's no red shirt. I mean, I would play him and get him as many snaps and carries as possible when the time is right, just for the future, because you just don't, he's not going to actually he'll get better, but the best way to get better quickly in football is to play the game in the games. Right. And so I'd really like to see him, and have been kind of surprised that he hadn't gotten out there more in some of these games that have gotten out of hand.
Kind of on a fun note, JC, Nashawn Goddard is the offensive line coach for South Carolina State, and I would just love to get your takes on. I'm not sure if you've ever had any one-on-one conversation with him, or when you got to cover him at South Carolina. Obviously, was a fantastic player for USC, and I bring him up because I've had him on my airwaves, and just a phenomenal conversation. He's one of those guys that lights up a room, and just really, really cool. I feel like that he's coming back, and I know this is a big game for him, and he still loves the University of South Carolina and loves being a Gamecock. Just talk about him, and I don't know if you ever had any one-on-one combos with him. If you did, what your takeaways were from him, and obviously your takeaways from when he played at South Carolina.
Yeah, the pride of Dayton, Ohio. He was a Holtz recruit and ended up playing for Spurrier the last year. I had just gotten out of the newspaper business and into the internet. Rivals.com. I joined that organization in December of 2004 and was not covering the Gamecocks at the time. His last year, I think, was 05. But, yeah, the type of guy that, anybody you talk to that's affiliated with the Carolina program absolutely loved him. They still love him. I think he's a good coach. I think he's got a bright future. It certainly was part of a lot of interesting teams at South Carolina there. That end of the Holtz era, beginning of the Spurrier era was very interesting, around South Carolina. And I'll never forget the tackles on that 05 team. Interesting thing about that 05 team, too, that Spurrier's first team was they didn't arguably Shane Beamer inherited a more complete roster from Muschamp, and I know Muschamp did not inherit as complete of a roster as Spurrier did, but it was still. I mean, there were still like walk-ons starting on the offensive line and at tight end by the end of the year. The running backs on that team were true freshmen or Dacus Turman. They were thin, but then you look at it, you look back on it, and you know, well, they did have Chris White at center. They did have Nashawn Goddard and Jabari Levy at tackle. You know, obviously, Savell Newton played a big part in that year before hurt. And then I think what really gets lost is Jonathan Joseph and Coach Simpson in the secondary. I mean, that secondary was really good. But I remember Goddard, a good quote he had after the Gamecocks beat Florida about Coach Spurrier. He said, you know, he's just taken this team and put it on his shoulders and elevated it. And that's when you kind of, that quote has always stuck with me because, you know, after those games where Carolina beat Tennessee in Knoxville and then came back and beat Urban Meyer and the Gators with Spurrier's first contest against his old team, you just kind of felt that. It was kind of his quote was sort of a reinforcement of why, you know, Steve Spurrier is kind of a magical coach and came in and you knew at that point, you know, he's going to elevate this thing one way or the other, and ultimately he did.
Giving me chills, JC, because those are the teams that I really grew up with. You know, I tell people end of 02, beginning of 03, when I was about 11 or 12 is when it really clicked for me what Carolina football meant. So those first couple Spurrier teams, those were, and you know, the end of the Holtz era, those were the teams that I really grew up on. I know for every Gamecock fan, you can tell kind of which era Gamecock fans grew up in, because like even the 90s, you know, we've got somebody that tunes into this, and I know others too. Like, you know, those teams in the 90s weren't all that great, but it's, you know, when you grow up with certain teams, it's like those are the teams you fell in love with. It really doesn't even matter what the record was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was the 80s. Gosh, because I didn't really understand football when I was, you know, 6, 7, 8. I don't know why the sport just was complicated. You know, I knew all about baseball since I was 5. I mean, it's easy. You know, basketball, put the ball in the hoop. That's fine. The intricacies of football didn't really. I guess it was 86 was the first year's Todd Ellis's redshirt freshman year where I was like, oh, this is what this is. This is awesome. You know, so the 80s teams were there, and then I suffered through most of the 90s. You know, I was in college and stuff, and we used to go to games all the time. And then those teams you were talking about from 00 to 06, I rarely missed a game, home or away. Yeah. You know, and I think I've gotten older and don't really enjoy going to the games as much anymore. But you know, those are memories for me too. I mean, I'll never forget how despondent I was. And I wasn't this despondent until 2017 Kentucky again. After the Independence Bowl, they lost to Missouri that year, Spurrier's first team.
Yeah. Big in that game too, right?
I went to Shreveport, man, you know, and up 28-7. It looks like the fun and gun is back. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you know, I guess Nix left the middle of the field wide open for Brad Smith to exploit, and they came back and won. And I'll never forget how despondent I was after that game. Luckily for me, I went to the Horseshoe Casino afterward. We won $400 playing blackjack, so I was all right then. But you know, those were magical times, you know, and no matter what, you know, almost lose to Wofford, that's okay. You know, get blown out at Auburn with Antonio Hefner at quarterback, that's okay. You know, that loss to Clemson in 05 was brutal because Sidney Rice dropped like the one pass he would drop his whole career. And I think he was going to fall into the end zone. They didn't score a touchdown. That game's 13-9. That's okay. You know, you just kind of believed good things were going to happen, and doggone it, they did.
Yeah, there was a purity of those times, JC. I feel like, especially like in 05, because now, you know, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. It's a great thing, obviously, that Steve Spurrier raised the expectations. But, you know, now we expect to beat Tennessee. We expect to beat Florida. We expect to beat, you know, we want to beat Georgia, whatever. And it's like, I just remember 05, like beating Tennessee for the first time ever in Neyland, beating Florida for the first time since like 1930. There was a purity to it. There was a purity to it. By the way, shout out to that secondary. Fred Bennett was another guy that was.
I forgot it. Yeah,
phenomenal.
Fred Bennett and
Bennett and Joseph on the corners. That was a hell of a duo. And then
Stoney Woodson a backup too, and Stoney started the next year and actually got drafted. That was something. Yeah,
because Stoney had a big pick six, I think, in the 08 Tennessee game. I think it was.
Right. Yeah.
Had a pick six in that one.
Really good player.
Anyways, JC, this has been incredible, man. I appreciate you taking the time. Obviously, again, happy game day. Looking forward to the game tonight. And of course, next week we'll do it. It'll be a big one as we get ready for that Kentucky game, a pivotal one on the schedule, of course. But we'll worry about that this time next week. Appreciate you, JC, and always a pleasure to chat with you. And we'll do it again soon. And thank you for having me on you guys' airwaves as well.
Oh, that's no problem. Thank you, Chris. It's been fun this week, and we'll holla at you soon. Happy game day to everybody out there.
Yeah, man. Take care, JC. Appreciate it. Great stuff from JC Sherbert inside the Gamecocks, the Big Spur, where you can check out all of his work. Be sure to follow him on social media. And, check out their daily show that airs. I think they'll get going right here. 11 to 1 is when you can tune in to them. Guys, we're going to jump into a quick break. But on the other side, I want to hear from you. It's game day. Your questions, your comments, your calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377 here on this Thursday, September the 29th, 2022. It is game day. Phone lines are open. Would love to hear from you all. Let's see. We'll dive back into your questions, those in the Big Cock Club Discord. Craig Phillips says, can't wait to see the new merch you're going to add to the store. Yeah, this weekend I'll be after it, man. I'll be after adding new merch, hoodies, long sleeves, pullovers, everything in between, beanies. So a lot of our fall line will take place. Appreciate you all. And yeah, I'm excited to drop the new merch, man. Excited to drop the new merch. It'll probably be hoodie season tonight with the breeze blowing and everything like that. So definitely after it as soon as you can. Let's jump to the phone lines. Robbie Davis, what's going on? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
That feels weird.
Robbie, I thought about you yesterday, my guy, because on my way home from the mountains, I stopped and got Zaxby's. Indeed. So
let's go.
Yeah, it was fantastic as well. It was fantastic. So
I think they put. Honestly, I think they put drugs in the chicken.
You think they put drugs in the chicken? Okay, so you're saying anchovies in the Zax sauce and drugs in the chicken. Hell of an establishment Zaxby's is running.
No. I mean, it tastes that good. You think they put some sort of drugs in the chicken?
Yeah.
But anywho, I still think that even though it didn't happen last week, I think we see a special teams touchdown tonight. I think we do. If it was honestly, if it was me, I'd be like, look, I don't care. Go for the block and do whatever you got to do. Because if you hit the football when a team is punting, but you hit the punter in the process, it ain't roughing the punter as long as you hit the football. If I was our special teams coach, if they were ever back in the end zone, okay, their offense was backed into the end zone, and they had to punt, I'd be like, anytime they're in have to go 80 yards to get a touchdown. If it's fourth down, I'm sending the house every time. I am sending the house, everything in the kitchen sink. I'm sending trash cans, lead pipes, the whole nine. I'm gonna get to the football.
Attack. I mean, you said it yesterday, right? Attack.
Mm-hmm. I don't care if like I said yesterday, I don't care if we up by 60 or 70 or 80, 90, or God forbid 100. Attack. Because their job is to stop you. Your job is to score. And I ain't gonna lie. If I was playing a football game and if I was coaching a football game and I had a chance to score 100, I'm doing it. Okay, I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. I would do it. But look, your job's to, like Spurrier said it, like he said, their job's to stop me. My job is to score. Spurrier said that while he was here. Just go out there, attack, because obviously Rattler will have some incompletions. Okay, he will. No quarterback is perfect. Okay, But regardless of what happens, attack the defense. Because I really do believe if we put South Carolina State on their heels and make them panic, they'll fold, and we will put them away quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Facts.
And I don't care if we put them away early. Stay on them.
56-7, right?
56-7 is the prediction that I gave you. Yes, 56-7. I think and like I said the other day, if I was Beamer and anybody that helps with the offense, I'd take the leash off of Rattler and let him go. Just take the leash off of him, let him go. Because like I said the other day, I feel like they have a leash on him. They need to take the leash off and just let him go.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see him air it out. Love to see him air it out, Robbie. What time you guys getting into town?
Let's see. He's going to be getting off about 1. Get here to the house by 1:30. He's going to take a shower. I'll be ready to leave by then because as soon as I hang up with you, I'm getting ready to leave. Mm-hmm. That way, whenever he gets here, I'm already ready to walk out the door. But he's going to get here about 1:30. He's going to take a shower. We're going to leave by 2:30.
Okay. How long does it take y'all? About an hour and a half? Or is it way shorter? An hour?
A little less than an hour. Depends on how bad traffic is. If traffic is flowing and there's no hiccups, I would say 53 or 56 minutes.
Okay.
But if traffic is a snafu, then it takes a little over an hour, maybe.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, but we do just. I'm one of them people, like, I don't care who the opponent is. I'm going to beat your ass, and you're going to regret playing. Okay? I don't care who the opponent is. I don't care if it's Auburn. I don't care if it's Florida. I don't care if it's LSU. I don't care. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to beat you. No matter if it's teams like that or if it's SC State. No disrespect to SC State, but I'm going to beat. I'm paid to win a game. Okay, so I'm going to do whatever I need to do to win and win convincingly. If that is keeping my starters in the whole game, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's the goal is to win, Robbie, and in a night like tonight, to win big for sure. Yeah, you said Absolutely. It, Coach Davis. You said it. Hell, you coach the Gamecocks for free, I bet.
Yeah, I would. I want to earn my paycheck though. Mm-hmm. See, I would do it until they come up with a number, and if I like the number, I'll take it. But and I don't know how good the quarterback is for State. Okay, I don't. But from what I heard, if we rattle him, he's gonna make a mistake. From what I heard from JC, if we rattle him early, he's gonna make a mistake, and we're gonna get a defensive touchdown in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment, Robbie.
Because SC State probably won't play especially whenever they get into their conference or whatever they call it, for schools like that. Okay. They're not going to play a team as fast as us. Okay. And like I said the other day or the other week, if we somehow turn this into a track meet, I don't think State has the horses to keep up. I don't. Stranger things have happened, but I just don't feel like they have the horses to keep up in this game tonight. We will take care of business. And one of the things that scares me, though, right, because a lot of times we have a tendency to play really, really well, right, and then all of a sudden lay an egg. I don't think we'll have that problem. I don't think we'll have that problem tonight. But one of the things that does scare me, though, a little bit is we'll kind of sort of start slow and look past SC State and focus on Kentucky. Now, we don't need to do that. We'll focus on Kentucky next week. Y'all need to beat South Carolina State's ass, get a W, and then you can focus on Kentucky after you celebrate for 24 hours. Celebrate for 24 hours. Then you focus on Kentucky, and you go into daggum Kentucky, and you give Stoopsy a butt cutting.
Big facts. Robbie, well said. Hey, y'all be safe coming to the game, my friend. Should be a lot of fun, and hopefully maybe y'all could stop by the tailgate. If not, y'all have a good time tonight.
Absolutely, bro. All right, man. Have a good one.
Robbie, appreciate you, my guy. Be good. Take care. Great stuff from Robbie Davis. Guys, we're continuing to take your questions, comments, calls. John, I thought you said you weren't going to I thought you weren't going to be at the game till like kickoff. Are you now going to be there earlier? Is that correct, John? Need an update from John. Anyways, guys, 843-790-337. Travis says, put Zaxby University on our schedule. Yeah, for sure. Ready for the hurricane. I hear you. Okay, John says 5:45. Got you. All right, let's jump to phone lines. Hunter, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, how you doing? No, I'm doing good. I was just ready for the hurricane to come. About to go downtown and see how everything looks right now.
Where are you at?
Moats Corner, South Carolina.
Oh, okay. You're down there by Chucktown. All right.
Yeah. I have a question though. What's your prediction for this game?
Yeah, so I dropped my prediction yesterday. 66-10 is what I got. Carolina.
Okay. All right. And I don't know if you heard. Do you think Tanner Bailey or Braden Davis gonna play at all? Or?
I would like to see them play. I'd like to see them get in the game.
I think it's a good opportunity for them to actually play.
Yeah, I can't say for certain. We haven't seen them to this point, but I tell you, this is the game to do it. If you don't see them tonight, I don't think either one of them plays all year.
Right. Yeah, you don't.
Which is a shame. Which is kind of a shame. Honestly, which is kind of a shame. So hopefully tonight's the night.
All right, sounds good. That's all I want.
Hunter, I appreciate the call, my guy.
No problem. Take it easy.
Yeah, be safe down there in Charleston. Appreciate y'all. And yeah, everybody out there, be safe. Hopefully we're not getting the worst or anything of the hurricane or anything like that. But definitely be safe. Take care of yourself. Hey, by the way, on that note, a quick update. We actually got a text from the Roach King himself saying that he didn't get hit too hard where he's at. So thank goodness the Roach King is good. The Roach King is doing well. Lady Bree says, I think the weather's going to attract the score to lower than our predictions. Well, I'll say this, Lady Bree. We will be able – it's literally a name-your-score game. Tonight is a name-your-score game for Carolina. If we want to win 66-10, we can do it. If we want to win 38-7, we can do it. We want to win 56-13, we can do it. You look at what SC State has done this year, haven't stopped anybody. I mean, their one win was against Bethune-Cookman. And even Bethune-Cookman ran for 191 yards, as J.C. Sherbert pointed out. So, I mean, the Gamecocks should be able to do really whatever they want to do. It's a name-your-score game. Again, I don't feel like I'm making any sort of bold take by saying that or anything like that, but that's what it is. And it's no disrespect, obviously, to SC State, but, you know, the talent gap is that wide. The talent gap. Chase, what's up, man? How are you?
Just trying not to blow away with this wind right now. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing well, man. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
I just gonna put in my 2 cents. I think my prediction for tomorrow, I'm gonna put in 56-7 us. I think that if there's the average fan gets excited about that, I don't know. I kind of got mixed feelings about it. I don't know how much you've seen in my comments this week in the Discord, but it should be expected that we win that much against this game. So, I mean, I'm not going to get too excited if I see Rattler throw for, a positive outlook of like 200 yards or something minimum. If the wind allows him to, that's another if. Or something like Lloyd busting open against this, it's pretty much like almost playing, no offense, South Carolina State, but like a deaf in the blind school or something, basically, is what we're playing against competition-wise. So, I mean, we should blow them out regardless. But all I look at this game is reps, getting reps. You can't take too many positives out of this game besides getting reps and preparation for the upcoming part of the season. I mean, there's plenty of negatives that can happen, and if they do, that's just more of a like, dude, how's this happening against, SC State? So we really need to iron out any slight kinks or whatever, and really, like, it's name your score type of game. You can't win big enough type of game, kind of like Charlotte is the way I look at it. It doesn't matter. You just can't lose or be close to get, satisfaction from, the most realistic, I'd say, most Carolina fans type of game. You just got to look at this game as reps. From each position point, you got to get reps on each side of the ball and get better. And if that, I mean, I don't want to have the starters in all game, but they need to get significant reps tonight. I don't care what the score is, because what have we shown this year besides lackluster across the board, besides maybe our special teams and field goal unit? I mean, other than that, I mean, there's multiple parts of the game that need to be worked on. Yeah. And that's all I got. But I do want to make a comment. If Robbie Davis isn't in the locker room tonight with Beamer and them staring at Marcus Satterfield in the eyes saying attack for the pregame speech, then we're doing something wrong as Carolina fans. He needs to be in the locker room inspiring the team, because, my God, I'm ready to jump through a wall right now. Anyway, go Cox.
Chase, well said, my friend. Very fair. I think Robbie Davis should be in there as well. Yeah, I think Chase makes very good points in regards to this game tonight. It is all about South Carolina. It's all about getting reps in a game like this. And because, again, you can't – I don't care who the opponent is. You can't simulate in-game reps in practice, in scrimmages. Again, it doesn't matter the opponent. It hits different, right, when it's in game. So I do agree what Chase said. Getting your starters as many reps as possible. Maybe you leave your starters in there a little bit longer than you normally would, because this is really going to be your last tune-up game of the season, where you can really do that, and you can pick and choose what you work on, and you can work on things. Rest of the season, you're just worried about trying to get a win, right? Tonight, you can really pick and choose, again, what you work on and what you're trying to sharpen, if you will, what specific players you're putting in specific situations. So I think, again, you need to take advantage of it. That's why I've said all week long about the passing game and getting Spencer Rattler going. And if you go out there and run for 500 yards, that's great. But this game isn't just about running for 500 or winning by 50. It's about making sure everybody's getting the reps they need. Everybody's confidence is as high as it can possibly be, leaving a game like this and going back into SEC play. Well said, Chase. I think that was a fantastic point you made. And again, hopefully we see a lot of that tonight. Guys, we're going to jump into a quick break, but on the other side, I want to continue to hear from you more, your questions, comments, calls, and more on the other side of the break. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. Here on this game day, Thursday, September the 29th, 2022. Again, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Very excited for the game tonight as South Carolina takes on SC State. A really cool game day edition of the Daily Crow. How y'all feeling? Obviously, I appreciate y'all being flexible with everything, being cool with a morning Daily Crow. We'll be back to the normal schedule tomorrow, 12 to 2. Also, guys, for those that tune in a TDC podcast version, I know that there was no podcast yesterday. I was on the road. We'll probably just skip that podcast. Hope you guys don't mind. We'll skip that podcast. We will upload today's show. That one will be up by 1 o'clock. We'll say 1 o'clock. That one will be uploaded because it's normally an hour after. So, appreciate y'all being flexible with everything. Appreciate y'all rocking and rolling with the punches and everything else. And excited to get down to Columbia, man. We'll be out at Seawells around 2:30 or so. Chase Orvin says over or under 200 yards for Lloyd. I'll go under. I saw you ask this question earlier, and I saw folks comment on it. I do believe that I think the under is the play. I think multiple guys will touch the rock. I think Lloyd has another big night, but I think it's a great opportunity to kind of spread the love, Chase. I think it's a great opportunity. He didn't even have 200 last week, right? So I think it's a great opportunity to spread the love, get a bunch of different guys touches. Lloyd, Christian Beal-Smith, Juju, maybe Lavoisier gets in there, maybe a Nathan Harris-Wainick, maybe an Amos, Turbo Miller. Just get some different guys some touches. So Jaheim Bell, might be carrying the ball to the backfield. But do we see a guy like a Tanner Bailey? Do we see a Braden Davis? Do we see some of these other guys get in the game? That's what I'm kind of most interested to see. But I think to Chase's point, like we said before the break, I think leaving your starters in there, getting quality reps, I think is really, really important. Lynn Turner says, when are you ordering your new chair? Probably this weekend. I'll go get a new chair. Yeah, I'm still in the basic office chair, if you will, which it doesn't work too badly, but I tell you, the vibes in that chair in the mountains was immaculate. It's hard to ignore, right? So I think I'm going to have to most certainly take advantage of that. Let's see. Again, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Let's see here. Kentucky OC says that he thinks Will Levis will be the first overall pick in the draft. I just don't understand the Will Levis love, bro, to that level. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand the Levis love to that point. So let's see. All-purpose yard leaders entering week 5, and the Gamecocks don't have a single player on the list. How about that? Rocket Sanders leading the SEC in all-purpose yards, 625. Devin Ashane from Texas A&M right behind him, 625. How about Ray Davis from Vandy, 490 yards, third. Let's see here. Chase Orvin says, bring back the tail feather helmets. How about we don't? Hunter Johnson, not sure what the fit is tonight. I'm not 110% sure. I think a hoodie, though, will be pulled out because it's going to be breezy, mid-60s breezy. I think getting hoodie season going, Hunter, is the move. I do. So we will see. Not 110% sure what the fit is tonight, but I'll let you know. As soon as I can. Anyways, Chase posting in the Big Cock Club Discord the tail feather helmet. I'm not a fan. Not a fan, my guy. Not a fan. So. Anyways, guys, phone lines are open. More than welcome to call in. Would love to hear from you. Again, guys, appreciate you all, man. The love, the support. Means a lot. Had a fantastic experience, out of town first half of this week and changing things up and kind of a mental refresher, a mental reset, if you will. Much needed. So Lynn Turner says, yell loud tonight. I won't be able to help much from Raleigh. I got you, Lynn. We got you. Yeah, it's funny. When the news was dropped, I was debating whether I was going to go to the game or not. And I was just like, you know what? Why wouldn't I? You know what I mean? Like, why not? What's the other option? Just sit at home and watch on TV. And I certainly could have done that. And I don't think anybody would have held it against me. But I was like, I don't really it's like I don't really have an excuse to not go other than just not going. You know what I mean? Like, so we'll see. I mean, we might not have anybody show up to the tailgate, but you know what? We're going to find out tonight either way. Looking forward to being out there, and no matter what, it'll just be great to be in Columbia, and looking forward to a really, really fantastic night. So, Courtney, I appreciate you. Thank you. Hunter Kelly says Steve Spurrier should be the assistant coach. Yeah, I think Coach Spurrier is good on that. Lynn Turner, if we were in storm mode at work, I'd make the trip. Yeah, the storm is really throwing a lot of people off. It's hard to guesstimate what the attendance will be. I think you're probably looking around like 35,000, something like that. I'm not doubting Gamecock Nation, but I just think, guys, for a lot of people, traveling and all that, I think I want to say the student section will be good, but hell, I don't even know if the student section is going to be full. Will students show up for the SC State game? I don't know. Maybe Brennan M or I think Chase Orvin's a student. I don't know. Maybe they can let me know. But I mean, no, I'm not trying to throw shade at the student section, but they haven't exactly been like staying past the first quarter for any of the games. So I don't know if students really will make it a priority to come to the game, or maybe they will. I don't know. Chase Orvin says, should we put red stars on our helmets? Like the old school, you mean? I mean, it'd be cool if we wanted to just embrace the throwback, the George Rogers throwbacks, if you will. I'd be down with that. I'd be down with that. But that's the only way I would do it. I wouldn't just do it to do it. If you're going to embrace the throwbacks, then by all means go ahead. But Jeff Gullidge, weren't Steven Garcia and some other guys supposed to be there for a half? Yeah, so they were going to be honoring this weekend. They were going to be honoring the 2010 to 13 teams. And so obviously I don't think that's happening anymore. I don't. I mean, obviously Steven's not in town. Nobody's really in town. So, I mean, maybe they still do the ceremony. I have no idea. But the Roach King will not be present. John Edward, Braves are related for a huge series for Mets series in Atlanta. DeGrom Fried Friday, Scherzer Wright Saturday, and Bassett Morton Sunday. Yeah, the Mets are a game up, right? The Mets are a game up, I believe. Okay, John, they postponed the ceremony. Okay. Courtney Washington says student section going to be empty by halftime. Where's Brendan? Where the students at? I mean, honestly, though, the student section has earned all of that criticism. I mean, you empty out by halftime, it's I don't know. I mean, it's just you kind of earn the criticism you get. So I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, I thought 5 points, it kind of died off. So I'm surprised people are so ready to go party. It's like, well, what party is there to go to? I guess a house party. I don't know. The Vista. I don't know. So, but then again, man, I'm never someone to come down in the Gamecocks fan base. I mean, a lot of times, listen, I understand the students left like the Georgia game early, but I mean, dude, you're getting crushed. So if you don't want people to leave early, don't get crushed, right? Don't get crushed. So let me ask you this. Do they still have, and Brendan can answer this, do they still have the incentive where if you stay into the fourth quarter, you get like a reward, not a reward for it, but do you get like a extra points? Do you get that? Does that happen still? Is that still an incentive to stay the whole game or no? Luke RJ says thoughts on people wanting the Braves name changed. Is that still a thing? I didn't even know that. Carol Ann says, hasn't the game been canceled? The game most certainly, Carol Ann, has not been canceled. No, we are playing tonight. Brendan says, Chris, I can't answer that. Why would you not be able to answer that? Why is that a hot topic? That students, like by USC, they get extra points or whatever for stay. Is that some top secret information? Why is that not a I just thought that was kind of common knowledge. I don't know. Maybe I'm just spelling out company secrets or whatever. Anyways. Okay, word. Anyways. Hunter Kelly, has the Clemson game been moved? No, they are playing. What's interesting, too, is we could have played Saturday. Just looking at the weather report and stuff like that, we probably could have played Saturday. But, they had to make a decision. I don't blame them at all, right? You have to be ahead of it and think forward and make a decision. And let me ask you guys this. I mean, we'll talk about this more tomorrow. What's your plans now for the weekend? Because that's the one downside, right, of having a Thursday night game is you have the game on Thursday and it's great, but then your weekend is like wide open. It's just like, well, what do you do? So, y'all got any special weekend plans? Are you just going to sit around and watch football? It actually works out really, really well for me. I guess if the game would have been Saturday, it would have been the same thing, but I'm excited to take the weekend and work on some stuff and knock out some stuff here on the home front. And, we got a lot of merch to send out, a lot of merch to ship out to people. On that note, guys, at the TSUS tailgate today, if you guys are going to be there, which I wonder what the tailgate is going to be like. I wonder what it's going to be like. I'm wondering if I should not be getting out there at 2:30. I'm like, is that a little early? If I'm there at 3, guys, please don't hold it against me. Either way, though, you guys got any big weekend plans? Jacob, yeah, moving the game is in our favor for the Kentucky game. Yes, it is in our favor. Shane Beamer already saying they're going to take Saturday off. So, John Edward, big NASCAR guy. I got to be honest with you. I am not a NASCAR guy. Not even remotely a NASCAR guy. So, Cram, the game's on SEC Network. SEC Network. Noah John says he'll be here or be at the tailgate or in Columbia about around 4. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably be there at 3, between 2:30 and 3, because I'm not going to sit around here and just do nothing, right? We're going to get down there. So, yeah. I'm hoping for a good crowd. I mean, I think it'll be solid. I don't think it'll be a great crowd. I think it'll be a good crowd. I think it'll be a solid crowd. Yeah, so. Austin, TDC goes till noon. So we got about 30 minutes left. We'll jump into a break in about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll wrap it up. We started today at 10 o'clock. We'll be back to normal schedule tomorrow, 10 to 12. Podcast will drop tomorrow as well, guys. Going to be a late night for yours truly because we'll be coming back here. We'll be coming back to Greenville after the game, and then I'll record the show tonight after the game for tomorrow. So it's going to be a late one. We'll be burning that midnight oil, but we love it. No, Caden, I'm not giving you that 30 minutes today, my guy. Not giving you that 30 minutes today. We gotta get after it, get on the road, and just write the IOU down. I guess. Chase said Saturday I'm going to Chimney Rock and winning some money on Prize Picks. That's the plan. I hear you. Glenn Wine, does it disappoint you that we have the most offensive talent since the Spurrier days, and yet the offense is the most boring thing we have ever watched? I mean, to this point, yes. Yes, to this point, yes, it does. Yeah, I mean, how could you not be a bit disappointed, right? How could you not be a bit disappointed with what we've seen offensively to this point? It's so. Hopefully it gets going. Hopefully it gets rolling. That's all I'll say. And again, tonight's a great opportunity to get Spencer Rattler going. Hopefully we take advantage. Robbie Davis texts in, hey, side note, my dad has a show tomorrow night in Anderson, South Carolina. How about that? Robbie Davis? Huh. Lynn Turner says, in a Facebook group where you can buy and sell tickets and tickets are selling, so I would expect a decent crowd. Okay. Well, I mean, Austin asked over under 42,000. I'm going to go under. I'd love to be surprised, but I mean, guys, again, you can't hold it against Gamecock fans for not going, man. I mean, it's the last second schedule change. It's South Carolina State. People are dealing with bad weather across the state of South Carolina and don't want to deal with it. So I'll go under. I think it's around 35 to 40,000. I don't think it's over 42. I think the lower bowl is pretty full and the upper is very scattered. I mean, I'll just put it to you this way, guys. I'll put it to you this way. If you are sitting in the upper deck, like high in the upper deck for the South Carolina State game, you're a diehard. I mean, you're a real one for sure. So just go ahead and put that out there. You're a real one, no doubt. Hunter Johnson thinks it'll be between 45 to 50,000. I mean, that will be incredible, Hunter. That will be. I'm just telling you. I'm not saying it's impossible because I don't ever doubt Gamecock Nation, but that will be thoroughly impressive. That will be thoroughly impressive. So, Austin Greer just says, "We stink, Chris." Would you like to elaborate, Austin? Anything you'd like to elaborate on from that statement? Let's see. Austin War wind's whipping pretty good here in G Vegas. Yeah, I have not stepped outside today, so I'm not exactly sure what it's like. But yeah, I mean, weather will be a factor tonight, of course. Does it affect how much you throw the football? Does it affect how much you throw the football? We'll see. Cody Gaskins, what's up, man? Luke RJ says Austin Greer likes Clemson as much as South Carolina. Ooh, the shots are being fired. Luke RJ throwing shots. Cody, I appreciate you tuning in, my guy. John Edward, my uncle lives in Florida, Orlando. Yeah, prayers to everybody down there in Florida. Hope everybody's doing well. Lady Bree, yes, it's very windy today. Going to be about 15 miles an hour at kickoff, or that's what the Weather Channel has said. So, yeah. That's what the Weather Channel has said indeed. Let's see. By the way, complete side note. I started watching on Netflix the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary show. Bro, I'm through 2 episodes, and I don't know that I'm going to keep watching it. I mean, that is a freaky weird thing, bro. That is a freaky thing. Like I don't like I get like I don't know that I need to I don't think I need to dude, it's so weird. I don't need to like see the details of everything, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think I want to put that in my brain. I really don't. So I think I'm gonna 2 episodes in, I'm out. I don't think I need to like let's go through every single killing and like nah, I'll pass. Let's see. Chuck McIntosh would love to absolutely see an offensive performance with no turnovers and 400 yards passing. Hey, Chuck, sign me up. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I just think the show's gross, like, honestly. Ken's still hammering the over on Rattlers passing yards for the season. You know, it's funny. He's on pace that it's going to be close. I mean, am I still hammering the over? Probably not. I don't know, man. I'll just tell you this. If you don't get Rattler to 3,000 yards passing, what a brutal season. What a brutal season. Because 3,000 is not even crazy. That's not even like a crazy number, is it? In my opinion, that's not really a crazy number. And I mean, I think to the point that Alex McGrath made earlier this week, I mean, the biggest problem with folks is that the offense looks the same with all the upgraded players we have. Jacob E. says, in the event we were to lose to Vandy or Mizzou, we really would need to reevaluate where the program is. I mean, that's not totally off. I mean, I think there's a lot of folks that need to reevaluate where the program is right now. I really do. I really do. I mean, the folks, and listen, I know I picked 8-4, but I was also very transparent saying that 6-6 could definitely happen. So I let to be honest with you, I let the hype get to me a little bit. Unless we make some huge shift and we get hot, right? Which, could happen. We could still get to 7-5, believe it or not. It all comes down to that Kentucky game being the inflection point. It's starting to click there. But I saw a lot of folks in the preseason talking about 9-3 and 10-2 and challenging challenging Georgia for the East and all that. And dude, I really think you have to really reevaluate. If you're thinking about the South Carolina football program in that way, you have to really take a step back and reevaluate. You do. We are light years away from anything like that. Light year. I mean, if that Georgia game didn't prove it to you, I don't know what would. I don't know what would. But we are the program right now. We are in a position where, I mean, if we go to a bowl game and win the bowl game, we should be pretty happy with the season. I say all that. I say all that tongue in cheek because I'm not going to come down on any Gamecock fan for being upset if we go 6-6, even at this point, because I'll be upset because it doesn't make sense to bring in a guy like Spencer Rattler. I know the football team is bigger than him, but you bring in a guy like that and you bring in all these other transfers and you go 6-6 and the offense is anemic. I mean, I've told you guys, I'm giving it till the Kentucky game. I stand by it. The Fire Sat merch will be ready to go. I'll be dropping the merch from the wedding. Like, boom. Go live, post across social media, get your Fire Sat merch. Straight up. If the offense is still anemic, that's it for me. That is it for me. Yeah, so but I say this, I see Bree Hunter Kelly says, shit, we can still go 10-2. Yeah, then you woke up. On what? NCAA football? Nah, bro. I mean, after the Charlotte game, and we'll see what happens tonight. I think right now I've pretty much accepted this is a 6-6 football team. I mean, if we go at this point, if we go 7-5, I will be. But hey, if you beat Kentucky, it changes things a bit, right? If you beat Kentucky, it changes things a bit. It's not the most important game of the season, right? It's not the most important. But as we talked about, I mean, it's huge inflection point. Huge inflection point. I'm not trying to look past the game tonight, obviously, against SC State. But as fans, we can do that, and it's hard not to. Chase Orban says, Hunter Kelly smoking the James Reynolds pack. Yeah, bro. Poor James Reynolds, man. Poor James Reynolds coming in the Daily Crow. He calls in one time talking about 10-2. If you're picking 8-4, you're a loser. Loser mentality. What about the folks that pick 6-6 that are probably going to hit the nail on the head? I mean, you know what's crazy? Jake Crane. I mean, Jake Crane smoking the Gamecock fan pack all season thus far because everything he said, unfortunately, has kind of come to fruition. And I hate it, but at least to this point, it is South Carolina, as Hunter Kelly says. You never know. You never know. You just never know. We could turn this thing around and go win 8-4. We could go 8-4. Luke RJ, I've had this necklace on for quite a while, my friend. It's Ball and Bat Co. The boys at Ball and Bat Co. sent me this necklace. Shout out to them. Just pretty simple, but Ball and Bat Co. Shout out those guys. Hit me up on Instagram. We're like, hey, do you want to rock the brand? So they sent it over. It's just a baseball bat and a baseball. So I'm a baseball guy. So Ball and Bat Co. Todd Smith says, Chris, if we beat Kentucky, I'll donate $200 to the Spurs Up show. Todd, no takebacks, my guy. No takebacks. Todd Smith. God, now we even got more riding on that game. Guys, we're going to jump into one final break, but I want to continue to hear from you more, your questions, comments, calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. Final 15 minutes or so here on the Daily Crow. I want to hear from you. 843-790-3377. That is 843-790-3377. I believe it was, who was it? Was it Hunter Johnson that asked for a fit report? I think we're going all black, my guy. I think I'm going to go all black tonight. Might even bring out the black kicks because we got to stomp on SC State. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go all black, my dude. Yeah, I think that's the move. I think that's the plan. So, Brandon Wagner, don't say poor James yet. We can still go 10-2. I hear you, my guy. I hear you. Hey, listen. I'd love to see it happen. I'd love to see it happen. I truly would. I truly would. Let's see. I wonder what unis we're rocking tonight, by the way. Haven't heard much of anything on that, have we? We haven't heard anything on that, I guess. So. Anyways, guys. Hope y'all are having a fantastic day. Staying safe from the hurricane. Chase Orvin says, hey, Chris, shave your beard if we go 10-2. Chase, I've literally already put a tattoo watch on. Right? Which I like, is that not the safest bet in the history of the world? Right? When I said before the season, if we win 10 games, I will get Beamer ball tattooed on my ass cheek. Bro, that is the safest. Like, here's the thing, right? Because y'all keep saying, Chris, at some point, y'all, at some point, hold on, wait. Hold up. Chase, the Ale House tour slide is fixed, my guy. That's the watch party slide. It is fixed. Chase is calling me out. Chase, I literally fixed it. Not Chase Orvin, the other Chase. I'm getting called out right now, and I did fix it. Did you not notice that? I did fix it. Oh, my God. Chase Orvin, good Lord, did you make that meme? That's the Jeffrey Dahmer meme. Oh my God. That's like disturbing even looking at it. Anyways. Sorry guys, I'm getting distracted here. Glenn Wine says classes just got canceled for students tomorrow. Now we can go extra hard. There you go. Congratulations to students. Class is canceled. Love that. Tanner Land says, if we win out, I will donate $1,000 to the Daily Crow. No takebacks. By the way, somebody asked, is it even possible to donate $200 on
Call from
Bree.
I'd love to find out. Here we go. Let's jump to the phone lines.
To accept.
Bree, what's going on? How are you?
What's up, Chris? Hey, man, it's getting crazy windy out here. I'm like an hour from Columbia. It's pretty, it might be kicking by tonight. But, hey, so after this game tonight, I reached out to you. I really want to do this with you, man. Like, I want to talk about that scenario that everybody's bringing up. Like, oh, 10-2. Remember I said at the beginning, like, when I first called in, there was like a 5-7 to 10-2 season out there, basically by what everybody was calling for and this and that. And I'd like to get into the second half of the season with you, and let's do a segment where we really hash out where those wins could come from and what is realistic and what are our dreamers, and what are our jaded fans looking at. You know what I mean? Like, because we got guys out there that think we're about to win tonight, and then we're going to lose the rest of the season too. They think we're going to go 4-8.
Yeah,
This is your last win.
I mean, the funny part of it is this, Bree, is that the season's gone exactly as I've predicted to this point, and I had us going 8-4. So I just, what's really interesting about it is that it's not like we've lost a game we were supposed to win or anything like that. It literally, the feelings are just straight up coming from how we've looked to this point. That's what's kind of intriguing about it. But technically, we're still on pace to do what I predicted. Now, again, how you win, I talked about that literally for months. How you win is important, and the how you win part is sort of what's been, leaving us desiring more, if you will. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, that's it. I mean, that's the whole thing, man. I think, I really want to get into a little piece with you and diagnose, like, where are our fans' heads at? That some of these guys are literally thinking, hey, we're going to have a 4-8 season. That if it wasn't for, like, Charlotte, Georgia State, and SC State, we wouldn't have any wins this year. It's like, wow, you're really jaded. You know what I mean? Like, you're super jaded. And then you got the guys out there a little more realistic, looking at the, could be 6-6, 7-5, 8-4. And then, over that, 9-3, 10-2, that was kind of dreaming. But I mean, we had people at the beginning of the season when we got Spencer going, like you said earlier, hey, we're going to be competing with Georgia. We might win the East this year. We might go undefeated. And I'm like, bro, y'all got to a 12-0 season from one transfer. Like, I mean, honestly, like, one transfer is going to come in and we're going to go to 12-0 from 2-10 2 seasons ago to from 7-6 a season ago to now we're 2-10 or undefeated. That's crazy. Yeah, that's a little crazy. But I mean, certainly right now, if you look and go, hey, there's enough games out there to go 10-2 still. I mean, is it possible? Sure.
I guess anything is possible, my man. I guess anything is possible.
I don't see that, you know what I mean? And even with all my breaking down footage, as much as I do, I see where, like I told you, I feel like we got Kentucky. There's some other games out there I think are going to come to us a lot easier than what we probably thought at the beginning of the season. But at the same time, that's a tough schedule, man. You got us beating Clemson. Hey, man, I'm going to tell you this. If we beat Clemson, 9-3 and 10-2 is a hell of a lot more possible according to what I'm looking at. But you got to tell me on Clemson.
And I'll tell you this.
You got to tell me on that one.
Listen. Listen. Let me make this very clear. I make my predictions over the summer, and I drop them in July, pretty early before most. And I make my picks then, and I also say that I'm also make picks the week of the game. So the picks are subject to change because the information we have at hand changes. And if we went 0-11 leading up to the Clemson game, I'm not going to say, well, I picked us to beat Clemson in the preseason, so I'm sticking with it. So the predictions are subject to change. And, I've had a lot of people ask me, Chris, do you still feel like we're beating Clemson? Do you think if we played today, we'd win? And I'd say, no, I think we get our ass kicked. So from what I've seen, it hadn't looked nearly what I thought it was going to look like. And again, that's the interesting thing is that, here's the thing. Charlotte, a lot of fun. Tonight, going to be a lot of fun. Besides that, we just don't really have a whole lot to hang our hat on. We look like shit against Georgia. Arkansas, listen, man, yeah, we threw it all over the yard against the worst pass defense in the country, and I don't think the game was ever really in doubt because we weren't stopping Arkansas on the ground. And then Georgia State, we look like shit. So, that's why Kentucky's going to be so important because if you go into that one and you play poorly and you lose, and you go into the bye week 3-3, 0-3 in the SEC, you're going to be at the halfway point of your season with nothing to show, with 0 quality wins. And that's just going to be really tough. I think mentally for the football team, I think mentally, obviously, for the fan base, I think the fan base is going to be in complete shambles, and most will have just gone ahead and write it off as a complete failure of a season. Which is unfortunate, but it's just, I can't beat up the fan base too much, man. The fan base needs something to crow about and cheer about. So, no, listen, my predictions are subject to change based on the information we have present. So right now, if Carolina and Clemson were playing this weekend, I'd pick Clemson to win the football game. There's just no question because we haven't looked. I picked South Carolina to beat Clemson. A lot of games in the second half, I picked South Carolina to win because I really believed and this still could be true, I believed, though, that Spencer Rattler was going to be a game changer for us. I really did. I thought he was going to be.
It's going to happen, Chris.
It might. No guarantees.
It's going to, man. It's going to.
From your lips to God's ears. I mean, from your lips to God's ears. It needs to happen because, again, like I said, I will guarantee you we don't run for 100 yards against Kentucky. Right now, I'll go on record and say it doesn't happen.
I don't.
So if he doesn't play well,
I'm not with you on that.
If he doesn't play well, we have no shot. And if you want to convince me that we're going to run for 100 or more against Kentucky, I mean, that's fine if you believe that, but I'm just going based off what I've seen. I don't remember the last SEC game. I guess Florida and Auburn last year, but more often than not, we can't run the football against SEC competition. I'm not making some bold take here. Like, we're not a good running football team. Our offensive line is not very good. We ran the ball
well 2 years ago with the same O-line, right?
In the COVID year, yes, which I think was an exception to the rule.
I mean,
not the rule
okay, let's asterisk that. But I mean, we said we got the same
with a different
O-line.
OC, and with a different OC.
Oh, different OC,
right?
My analysis has kept saying that our O-line's not playing that bad this year for us, and I think it's just everything's just coming together.
Reed, show me against competition that has a pulse. That's all I'm saying. If you want to prove it to me,
we're going to show me Kentucky.
Show me against competition that has a pulse. I would be more. Hey, last year that same O-line you're talking about ran for 54 yards against that Kentucky defensive front. Show me this year if you want me to.
I hear you, but that's not the same defense they got this year, man.
I understand,
that
but
not that same front, dude.
I hear you, but show me. My point being, I don't think you're going to beat Kentucky. You're not going to beat A&M. You're not going to beat Tennessee. You're not going to beat Florida. You're certainly not going to beat Clemson if we're not getting damn near the best version of Spencer Rattler. I mean, he just got to step up and put the team on his back to a degree. I really do believe that, because you're not going to run for 295 yards. You're not doing it. This team's identity is not running the football. It's just not going to be. I don't believe that. We're going to finish again 10th or worse, one of the worst teams in the SEC in running the football. Like, that's probably what's going to happen. I'm okay with that, but I thought Spencer Rattler was going to be the guy to help us overcome that. And that's why, I just haven't seen the passing game where I'd like – and now that doesn't mean it can't get there, but that's why I think, like, using a game like tonight to just start to show that, you know what I mean, it is important. But we'll see. Maybe we are – maybe we should just start running the triple option and run for 400 yards a game. I don't know.
No, that's not going to happen, man. That's not going to happen. It's going to be with balance, man. It's going to happen with balance, but it's going to start with the O-line, man. They're going to create the holes. I mean, we're looking past tonight to Kentucky is what I'm telling you, man. There's going to be holes there. Our run game's going to work, and by the time we get to Kentucky, they're going to have it together. Starting tonight is going to be important for sure. Not necessarily for the bomb passes and the huge vertical passes, but for the things you've heard me keep mentioning, and then by the time we get to Kentucky, we're going to be able to expose them with our run game enough that when they try to commit to stop it, that's when Spencer's going to shine, dude. That's when we're going to see Spencer shine. I think that's when it's going to happen.
And let me make this point, Bree. I'd rather you be right. I'd rather you be right and us beat Kentucky than me make Fire Satterfield merch because the offense still looks anemic. I'd much rather you be right. Trust me.
Hey, man, if by the end of the year the offense isn't looking like it's got its shit together, I'm going to be right there with you.
Like I said, I hear you, and I don't like calling for. I don't think Beamer's going to make a change, at least publicly, middle of the season. But to me, it's like, if you don't have it figured out by game 6, you've had enough time. How much more time do you need? You get spring ball, you get summer, you get fall camp. And now you've had 6 games. If you don't have it figured out by Kentucky, man, I'm out. I'm just completely out on Sat. I'm completely out. There's no excuse. It's
coming together, Chris. I think a lot of the fans are just honestly, man, I think there's a big hangover effect from being disappointed that, we're not seeing, Dak and Jaheim, be the stars when they were our stars to close out the season. But we have to remember those guys were our stars all through the last year. They showed up at the end of the year. Things happened at the end of the year.
Right.
We had a lot of
and our offense stunk last year.
Yeah.
And our offense stunk last year. So, I mean,
it's true.
it's
true.
Right. I think I know we've hit 12 o'clock, but I think the biggest, as Alex McGrath said, it's tough for fans because it looks really similar, and I don't think any of us were expecting that. But again, hopefully Charlotte, you ball out tonight, and you get extra prep. Fingers crossed that leads into sort of your breakout performance, kick the door down. Here we are. We got it figured out. And then you get the bye week, then you vault yourself into a big second half of the season. It could happen. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I'm not saying 10-2 by God, but maybe it does happen and we go 7-5 or God forbid 8-4 and Spencer Rattler gets drafted and we have the season we all hope, but it's been a bit of a slow start, but you'll have the opportunity to correct it for sure.
Yeah, just keep the positive vibes, man. It's still there. You thought we were going to beat Kentucky this year. I know you're worried that if it's because I know you thought it was because of Spencer, but it may not be that. But keep the hope, man. I mean, the season's there. I mean, Spencer's going to probably show out in Kentucky anyway. You're probably not going to be wrong that our quarterback's going to show to be better right now. That's a hard comparison if you look at the stats. Hey, man, Levis ain't playing that great either. Everybody's hyping him up, but all the breakdowns on their play, man. Honestly, they haven't had a run game, and they've gotten a lot of lucky deep passes, man, to keep them in the game all the time. I mean, if they weren't able to air way down the field right now, they don't have much other game going on. And that's against low-level competition, man, other than Florida. I mean, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of stuff, man. So it's all going to come together in Lexington, dude. It's going to be happy stuff, bro. It's going to be happy stuff, man.
Yeah, I do think UK is overrated. So we will we'll see next weekend, but obviously it should be a fun one tonight, and I'm excited to get there and take it all in. And again, it should be a fun one all the way around. Bree, we're going to jump off here. I got to get out of here and get ready to go to Columbia, but
y'all be safe.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in, and I'll tell you this. I will tell you this. Win, lose, or draw, Bree, the one guarantee I have for you is I will be here no matter what. So, yeah.
That's what it takes to be a Carolina fan.
That's it. Show up for sure. Yeah.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
All right, Bree. Take care. Hey, great stuff. Great banter there in the show. Guys, appreciate you all tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. My guy, Greg Bedinger, says, forgot to tune in at 10. Please post the JC segment. I will do that, Greg. I will go ahead and get everything downloaded. We'll get the podcast version uploaded. We'll get the YouTube clip video uploaded. And then we're going to be hitting the road. So, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much. Go Cox, beat SC State, and we will see you tonight at Williams-Brice Stadium.